Iris is one of my favorite fragrance notes. It always reminds me, we had an iris garden outside of my home growing up, so just this delicious kind of slightly sweet, almost buttery scent of those florals. So pretty much any fragrance that has iris in it, I'm guaranteed to like it. Also, I think most people like iris because it's such an unintrusive and agreeable fragrance. So, I'll go over a short list of iris-forward fragrances in this video, starting with a very unique one. This is Fleur de Peau from the Diptyque. This is, not only does it have iris, but it also has Turkish rose, pink pepper, aldehydes, some musk mallow, ambergris, and sandalwood. It's kind of an interesting mix between aldehydes, florals, and leathery musk. So definitely a very, very unique fragrance. I believe it's unisex. The iris note is in the middle notes. So definitely it forms kind of the body of this fragrance, which I think is really delicious, especially because iris is a relatively light note. Not too light, but still, on the lighter side. And I think it contrasts really nicely with the ambergris, the leather, kind of the musk notes, the wood notes. And it has this really nice kind of rustic elegance to it, which I really like. And it has a very nice kind of moderate longevity, moderate projection, very nicely crafted fragrance. Then, one that I would insist is unisex, even though it's technically for men. Dior Homme Original. This is very unique for technically a men's fragrance because of that iris note. Some men don't like it because they think, oh, it's too floral, it's too feminine. I think it's perfectly unisex because it's very crisp, it's very clean, it's not too feminine, it's not too masculine, it's kind of this perfect in-between, middle ground sort of thing. The iris is, this fragrance probably has the strongest iris note that I've come across, the most noticeable. Because sometimes the iris note is obscured by stronger notes, but this one really lets that note shine. And it's mostly a very light, cool, refreshing fragrance, in my opinion. Definitely not musky or anything, not heavy. Just very light, kind of a tranquil sort of fragrance even. Very natural. And it's just a very pleasing, I think, great for the daytime. And you could definitely wear it into the evening and for formal events as well. Then, here's a bit of a different one. This is Shalamar Guerlain. So, the thing about this, it has iris in it, but it's not as noticeable as some of these other ones, because if you've ever smelled Shalamar, you'll know that the strongest notes are smoky incense, amber, and wood notes. So, there's also a lot of florals and even some citrus thrown in there, which you mostly get during the opening, and it kind of circulates down into the middle notes as well. But the main thing with Shalamar is that you do get the iris, but it is kind of obscured from those really heavy smoky notes. It still has a nice balance, though, from those light florals to the heavier notes. So, if you just prefer a heavier perfume but still want that iris and the other florals like rose and stuff, Shalamar is a good option because it goes down that route. Then, two that I don't have, one's Chance, or Chance, from Chanel, which is very iris forward, but it also has some kind of powdery notes, some white floral notes. It's a modern fragrance, very feminine, very kind of sweet and light and bubbly, powdery sort of thing. So, the other main floral note is jasmine, and then you also have some vanilla, which I would say is pretty strong. And then also some white musk, which is, it kind of smooths out the entire fragrance. This is not to say that the iris note is weak, because it's not. It's definitely noticeable. But like I said, I think probably the strongest iris, if you want to go full iris, you could go for Dior Homme. Because that's definitely, you're getting the full iris. This is a good runner-up. Chance from Chanel. And, of course, they're both designer fragrances. You can't go wrong with either one of them. But this is just more of a kind of stereotypically feminine, very modern sort of fragrance, which is fine for 99% of people. But if you want something a bit more complex, because this only has 4 notes, then you have to experiment with some other fragrances. Another really good iris forward fragrance is Jimmy Choo Iris Crush, and specifically Eau de Parfum. So the thing about this, it's in the title. You're gonna get iris through and through, but you're also gonna get pink pepper and neroli, which I like pink pepper. I think it adds a little bit of intrigue and spiciness without going overboard. Definitely a more feminine fragrance, but definitely good. Definitely it has that unique kind of approach to the iris note, and it also has a very powerful iris note, which is definitely good if that's what you want. So you don't want to mess with anything else except for that iris note. Besides that, those are the top 5 iris fragrances that I think pretty much do a good job of emphasizing that note. If you have any opinions about iris fragrances, you can leave those down in the comments below. If you like the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.